Hey guys, isn't Leslie's testimonial, like her video testimonial, amazing? I absolutely love, I could watch that all day long, over and over and over. I absolutely am inspired by her ambition, her authenticity, and her vulnerability. I mean, think about that. There's probably not a lot of people that are willing to help others through their story. I feel like that is so admirable. And I thank her. I thank all of the other testimonials, all the other clients out there who have shared so generously their stories in an attempt to inspire other people to take action. Because ultimately, we are all in this together. None of us are unique snowflakes that are broken or dealing with such extreme issues that create this unsurmountable obstacle. None of us are, but I know we all think that we are. And so when you become vulnerable and you're willing to share your story, it changes everything. It, just like I said yesterday, when you're willing to just shine a light on the shame, it all of a sudden like extinguishes that shame, because shame only exists in the dark. So thank you, Leslie, and to all of my other clients who have so generously shared their experience. From the bottom of my heart, I thank you. So welcome, day 2. We are going to be addressing all of the obstacles that you guys shared with me over the course of the next few days. And the message that I want you to take away today is that you're not alone. Your obstacles are all variations of the exact same thing. And I know how you are feeling. I used to feel alone. I used to feel broken. I used to feel ashamed of my experience. And it wasn't until I heard others courageously tell their story about having the same kinds of thoughts that it dawned on me. I realized I'm not alone. I'm not that special unicorn. And what was actually making me feel isolated and ashamed and broken, you guys, what was making me feel that way was me. It was my thoughts. That's the key. Hear me when I say it was my thoughts that were making me feel that way. It was not my weight. It was not the number on the scale. So that awareness is exactly why I have developed this program. I address the root cause. Your root cause of being overweight is not because you have an autoimmune disorder. It's not because you're stress eating. It's not because you have high blood pressure or low energy. It's not because you have an unsupportive spouse. Here's what it is. It's that you think and now believe that that this will be the way of the rest of your life. And I'm here to tell you that's not true. So I'm so excited. We are across multiple platforms. Again, we're on Instagram. We are on 2 different Facebook pages, and we're in YouTube. So please leave comments. Please feel free to ask questions. My team is ready to answer. This is your opportunity to come and get educated and learn how to think differently about losing weight. So there are 3 simple pillars that have to be in place. They have to be in a very precise order to get the results that you're looking for. And I promise you, you've never heard these 3 things in this order with this kind of precision. So I want you to pay close attention. And personally, I feel like this is the news that everybody's looking for. This is such good news because it's new information. And I know that when I'm trying to solve a problem, when somebody comes to me with a solution that is maybe something I've never heard before, I'm all ears because I consider myself a lifelong learner. I consider myself a very resourceful person. I'm always looking for kind of that new idea. And if I'm being honest, I'm always looking for something that's going to take hold quickly or something that's going to be more efficient. Remember, patience is not my strong suit. So I'm looking for something that might be a little easier. That's why I get so excited about coaching the men and the women that I coach on this particular topic, how to lose weight fast, because I think I have cracked the code in every one of those areas. This new information is so simple and it can get you fast results. But like I said, it's going to take precision within these 3 pillars. So this information, it might be familiar to you. I hear this all the time. I actually already have tried intermittent fasting, or I already eat a low carb diet, or I do keto, or I journal every morning. And that's great. And I would say that's a great start, but you have to take it deeper than that. And that's why I'm here. That's why I'm here in this free crash course. And I'll be here tomorrow and Thursday and Friday, because I really want to equip you with what it is that you need to know that you have not yet heard. So I'm here for you. If you need clarification, do not be afraid to reach out. So if you haven't downloaded the workbook, if you haven't registered for this free crash course, make sure you do, because you will get this beautiful workbook that takes you by the hand through every one of the days of the next 4 days. Okay. So it's not too late. Go ahead and register right now. This is truly going to be reference material for you long after today. I want you, there's a place for you every single day to take your own notes on kind of the nuggets and the ahas. I want you to put pen to paper and actually put your words to these concepts that I'm sharing with you, because that's how it's going to be meaningful. Okay? You don't have to try to remember what I've just taught you. Write it down in your own words to really create 10 times the value from this workbook. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Tracy Plushcourt. I'm the founder of Self-Made You. Self-Made You is a coaching company, and I am absolutely committed. I am absolutely obsessed with teaching people how to take responsibility for their results through learning how to self-coach. I have a very practical way to teach you that. I teach people how to self-coach so that they understand why they're getting the current results that they're getting, why they're experiencing the current experience from their life. And most importantly, I teach people how to self-coach so that they can do and create change. So that can look like a whole lot of different things. I have people that come to me who want to start purpose-driven businesses. They have huge professional goals. They seek professional transformation. Those people I tend to coach on a little bit of a longer life cycle. I have people who want to stop over drinking, they want to stop overeating, they want to lose weight fast. And that has been my primary focus. Call it a sign of the times, but all of a sudden, this topic, becoming metabolically and mind healthy to lose weight fast, has really gained a lot of momentum. And I really believe, because it's new information, it's truly something that everyone needs to know. So today we're kicking off day 2 of this crash course. Yesterday, we talked about where you're at right now and where you want to be in 6 weeks and in 6 months. And I know that that experience is not easy. That lesson, that homework that I asked you to do is not easy. But I want to reassure you that you are not alone in this group. It is full of people who are feeling anxious, who are feeling nervous, they're uncomfortable, they're dealing with a whole lot of shame and doubt that this could ever work for them. But we also have people in this group that has a level of excitement about the possibility. There is a very strong possibility that you will leave this crash course with a completely new understanding of how you can take control once and for all and get to your natural weight. So many of you shared with me that you have short-term goals around that 10-pound mark. And a lot of you shared with me yesterday that you have weight loss long-term goals between 50 and 100 pounds. And although I'm absolutely obsessed with getting my clients results, I will say that I'm ultimately fulfilled by seeing them gain a mentality of self-awareness, of self-concept, self-confidence, and becoming an example of what is possible, like Leslie. I know that I have quite a few current clients that are in here right now, and I am absolutely thinking of them. I see them in my mind as I'm talking, and that is truly what they have become. They are an example of what is possible. That's incredible. Think about what that feels like. Like literally drop into your body and think about what it feels like to be an example of what's possible. Like that is so unbelievable. Like that can and will be you to be an inspiration to somebody else. Like I can't think of a whole lot of things that trump that. So like I've already touched on, I also asked you yesterday to share with me the obstacles that as you see it are standing in your way of hitting your goal. And I heard all sorts of obstacles, everything from work demands to menopause and hormones that are raging out of control, that are making you feel like out of control, making you feel like you have a lack of willpower, all sorts of family type responsibilities, people who are struggling with depression or self-doubt or just fear. All of those are legit obstacles. So I want to share with you a strategy that you can put in place. You can use this strategy personally, you can use it professionally to turn obstacles into a plan. Now, this is probably one of the most strategic exercises that I use in all aspects of my life coaching protocols. I take all of my clients through this process and I take them in detail through my 5-month program. But here's kind of top line. Here's how it works. I ask myself, what is standing in the way between me and the goal that I'm looking to achieve? It doesn't matter. It could be a salary goal. It could be a business growth goal. It can be a weight goal. What is standing in my way? What are those obstacles? And exactly what I asked you to do yesterday. And then I look at those obstacles and I come up with a step-by-step plan on what I would have to do to navigate through those obstacles. And I do it as if I was strategizing on behalf of my best friend. Like we take those obstacles often in our mind, we take those as facts. We have thoughts that when they are thought over and over and over, they become beliefs. So we have beliefs about those obstacles. And that, because they have been thought so many times, that has become a neural pathway. And because it's a neural pathway, because we take it as gospel, we don't ever think to question those beliefs. So what I'm asking you to do is question those beliefs, those obstacles, as if they weren't necessarily true, as if you weren't just reporting the news. Like, I want you to question it as if your best friend came to you and said, I have no willpower and it's absolutely impossible for me to lose 10 pounds. Would you just say, you're right, and walk away? No. You're going to sit down and you're going to strategize exactly how she's going to overcome it. You're going to come along right alongside of her because you love her, you support her. I want you to treat your obstacles as if they were obstacles of your best friend. And I want you to put a plan in place of exactly how you will navigate that obstacle. I want you to think about it objectively with an open mind. If you had to answer the question, how do I go from here to there? How do you answer that question? You can't say, I don't know. I want you to put every single step in detail so that when the obstacle, if and when the obstacle arises, you can then pull out that plan of attack and you can feel really confident that you're armed with the next steps. It's a whole different feeling than being in the moment of seeing that obstacle for the very first time. That's when your primitive brain that wants to keep you safe, that's when it goes on auto drive and it starts creating all sorts of fear, all sorts of thoughts that create the emotion of fear. And thinking strategically becomes very difficult. But just consider for a moment, if you take those obstacles and you create a plan for it right now, where the emotions are low because it doesn't actually exist, how much more confident you're going to be taking those next steps. Because should the obstacle arise, you've got the plan in your back pocket. Does that make sense? That's how we're going to build off of your homework from yesterday. Your homework for today is to give me that step-by-step strategy that you would create for a friend who has that same obstacle. Remember, I want you to look at that obstacle objectively, as if you were bearing the cross for your best friend. So, before we get into today, into the workbook, day 2, let's review a little bit of yesterday. Go back to day 1. Turn to day 1. I want to talk a little bit about the 3 main reasons that we're overweight. It's very simple. It's over desire, which is a feeling of desire that's kind of running at its highest level. It's your hormones, and it's over hunger. So over desire is often due to people not being tuned into their hunger signals. They're very disconnected from their body physically. And we don't always know if we're hungry or if we're full. And we've learned whether to eat based on all of this messaging that's coming at us. It's 8 in the morning, so it's time for breakfast. It's noon, so it's time for lunch. It's 5 o'clock, so it's time for dinner. We go to a restaurant, we must order appetizers. We go to happy hour and we have to indulge in alcohol, plus whatever the happy hour appetizer special is, right? Think about that messaging that we all buy into. It's kind of become this social norm. And that is absolutely what I would say the standard American has adopted as a way of life. That is where over desire is stimulated. If we are feeding that desire, if you're looking at the model behind me, we have desire in the feeling line, and what we do, how we behave, is we feed that desire. We indulge in it. And it starts to create this vicious cycle that creates a level of emotion that is unlike anything else that we've ever experienced. That is what over desire is. It keeps us overweight. So desire is just an emotion, and it's just created from a thought. It's so simple. But when we experience a feeling of over desire, our brain creates this like unwarranted sense of urgency and importance for food. This bad habit of feeding desire is then fueled. So I walk my clients through 3 very simple steps to reduce desire and bring it back to just a natural state. Because I'm not saying that desire is wrong or that we should try to resist it or run away from it. It's a natural emotion. And we as humans are put here on earth to feel the entire spectrum of emotions. But I want you to reduce that over desire back to its natural state. And you can do that very simply by eliminating sugar and flour, those 2 concentrated substances. You can do that by creating an eating protocol that plans your meals for fuel versus pleasure. And then doing the self-coaching work on your thoughts that have to be cleaned up. That's how we reduce over desire. The second major reason why we overeat is due to hormones. And we have to understand that hormones have a huge impact on overeating. Insulin is the main hormone that you have to understand if you want to lose weight. If you have insulin in your bloodstream, you cannot burn fat as fuel. If you have insulin in your bloodstream, you're using the glycogen that's in your blood as fuel. And because we have such a mass quantity of food readily available to us, we have tons of messaging telling us that we should be eating 5, 6, 7 times a day. Insulin is almost always present in our blood. And it absolutely keeps us from being able to burn the fat that is stored on our body as fuel. And it absolutely has contributed to the obesity epidemic that we are now experiencing. So insulin, if you've never heard of it before, or maybe you have, but you just thought it was a drug that's given to diabetics, it's a hormone. It's a hormone that is produced by your pancreas. And when it's in our blood, we cannot burn fat. So there's 2 ways to reduce insulin, and that's eating fewer carbohydrates and eating less often and in reduced quantities. So I teach my clients how to build protocols that put both of those into play. I also teach my clients about the other 2 hormones, leptin and ghrelin. That has a lot to do with us being overweight as a society. I was personally able to balance my hormones through an eating protocol that incorporated intermittent fasting. And I not only experienced a 40-pound weight loss, but my moods and my energy became so much more manageable. I think so much more clearly. My mental state is so incredibly sharp because I have very strategically incorporated intermittent fasting alongside of choosing food that fuels me. So your eating protocol has to be created by you because it's for you. You are biologically unique. This doesn't mean that you don't have any help. It means your work is to understand how you react physically and emotionally, mentally, and metabolically to what it is that you're eating so that we can build a sustainable and productive protocol that serves you, that satisfies you, that gets you to your natural weight and keeps you there for the rest of your life. So in my 5-month program, I take you by the hand to create that protocol. We keep refining it throughout the first 10 weeks of your experience. And you do that through my expert advice and a dedicated mentor that is assigned to you for the first 10 weeks. Many of those mentors are in here right now. They've been where you are. They are living, breathing, walking testaments that this is the way to live a happy, fulfilled, and healthy life. And the last reason why we overeat, it's due to overhunger. And when the desire for food is gone, you do not need willpower. A lot of you talked to me about willpower yesterday. You won't need willpower, and you won't need extra effort to resist overeating. We reduce hunger in the same way that we reduce desire. And that again is by eliminating sugar and flour, at least temporarily, by planning your meals for fuel, and then using coaching, self-coaching, to manage your thoughts and your emotion. And I'll just tell you right now, when you have a coach, when you have a mentor, you don't need to know exactly how all of this works because we walk you through the process step by step. So in support of reducing overhunger and overdesire, one of my primary goals for all of my clients is to get them fat adapted. And that makes the body fat that is stored on you your primary source of fuel. A lot of us have a lot of stored body fat right now. That's why we're overweight. We want to use that body fat as our primary source of fuel. That's what it means to become fat adapted. So essentially, we just want to rebalance our hormones and train our body to burn fat for fuel. And this only happens when you successfully lower the amount of insulin that's present in your blood so that your body can access that stored fat for energy. And the amount of time that it takes to become fat adapted, it's different for everyone, but I'll tell you it's somewhere between that 8 and 10 week mark. The people who have gone through my program, we take that first 10 weeks and we hit it hard. We're all about becoming fat adapted. So it does feel like you're drinking from a fire hose because they're learning how to self-coach, they're learning how to build protocols, but it's all with the objective of becoming fat adapted in 10 weeks. Because on week 11, we transition into learning how to self-coach to get bigger goals for ourselves. So yesterday, I asked you, send me your 6-week and your 6-month goals. So I have people that have just finished the Fat Adapted Intensive, the first part of the program, and now they've been asked to think bigger. Now that the brain fog has lifted, now that we've redirected their focus from being obsessed with needing to lose weight, now there's something new on the radar. And that's when it gets really fun because they start applying all of the concepts that I've taught, all of those foundational concepts to bigger goals. So I was having a conversation with somebody yesterday and she said, I really think that your program is different because nobody out there is looking for a life coach. They're looking to lose weight. And what they don't realize is that when they hire you to help them lose weight, they're actually getting a life coach that teaches them fundamentals of how to get any result in their life. And the weight loss becomes this byproduct of a much bigger transformation mentally and emotionally, as well as metabolically and physically. You add years to your life. Like, who doesn't want that? So you get the advantage, of course, of losing the weight, of becoming fat adapted, of clearing the brain fog, of increasing your energy levels. And then that's when I ask you, okay, what is on your bigger goal list? Like, what are the things that weren't even on your radar because you were so distracted by the weight that you needed to lose? Let's talk about that. Like, that's what lights me up. I love that part of the program. And it's so incredible to watch these people take what they thought was impossible and make it possible. It's amazing. Okay, so turn to the day 2 worksheet in your workbook. We're going to talk about the most important tool for sustainable weight loss. And if you haven't caught on by now, I want to make it very clear what that tool is. It is for sure learning how to self-coach. It will get you sustainable results in anything that you apply it to. Learning how to self-coach is understanding why things stand in your way, why things are getting in the way of you living the life that you want to live. I realized what stood in the way of making every change in my life and my career were sabotaging thoughts. Those thoughts that I was having were creating feelings. And then I acted from those feelings, whether they were good, bad, positive, negative, or indifferent. It's what I call the think, feel, act cycle. And all of my clients understand that. And when you understand that and you start to master it, your world cracks wide open. It changes everything. It's the way that you can create anything. I don't care if it's a 50-pound weight loss or it's earning $100 or $1 million. You can put anything in the R line and get that result by working this architecture. When you understand and master that think, feel, act cycle under my direction, everything changes. Here's the deal, guys. There's no shame in not understanding that yet. I will tell you, the missing piece in every other diet that you've ever tried, that you were never taught, is how to manage your thoughts and your emotions, how to take responsibility for your results and your experiences. I have made it Self-Made You's mission to be a higher education that teaches the simple steps to make change. It's simple science and math. It teaches you to take responsibility for your results, because we live in a world today that very quickly places blame. It's so easy to point out all of the reasons why we haven't gotten the results that we want. I'm here to tell you, take the responsibility for your results. I can show you how to do that through self-coaching. And that is, without a doubt, that is the missing link. Every single other weight loss program has lost, that they haven't taught. So if you're anything like me, you probably spent a lot of time thinking about your weight and feeling very broken, and you desperately want to feel confident and strong. You might be feeling exhausted from trying things that only work temporarily. You probably feel like you're eating against your will, and you probably have come to the conclusion that willpower is just not going to work. I used to think that willpower was my superpower. I used to think that I could white knuckle my way through anything. I bet that you think if you could just solve the weight problem, everything else would fall into place. And the reason why I know that is because that's the way I used to think. I spent half my life thinking and feeling that way. And it wasn't until I found the most important tool to sustainable weight loss, which is learning how to self-coach. Not hiring a coach, it's learning how to self-coach. That is how you create sustainability. You have to learn it, you have to practice it, you have to refine it, but then it's up to you. It is so sustainable. Self-coaching will heighten your awareness to your thinking. It promotes decision-making, and it absolutely fosters change. I believe that self-coaching is the truest expression of self-care. It's the foundation of getting any result that you want from your life. It's truly a process of discovering who you are, what you want, and then it offers the framework for achieving anything. I'm a hugely visual person. I needed to have the framework for self-coaching. And this is for anyone who has maybe lost their identity or wants to create a new one. It's for anyone who wants to regain control over their life and the challenges that they face. I believe it's for anyone who has lost sight of what is possible. One thing that I learned about my self-coaching during my weight loss journey is just because I was having a thought, it doesn't mean it's true. Think about that. Do you guys ever question your thoughts and ask yourself, is that even true? All of your thoughts have to be questioned. I want you to write that down in your notes for today. All of your thoughts have to be questioned. Just because you're having a thought, and we have on average 60,000 of them a day, it doesn't mean it's true. You have to question those thoughts. That's how you can get to the root cause of your problems versus treating symptoms. Okay, so what is an effective food protocol? I'll just tell you, it's all about creating a process or a plan that is sustainable, that fits your lifestyle, and it truly is the second key to getting you to your natural weight. The first is learning how to self-coach. The second is creating a food protocol And a lot of you, by the way, ask me, what does natural weight mean? And it's just my way of explaining where your body kind of lives at its most optimal level. And you might fall below that, and you'll quickly realize that that's probably not the most optimal weight for you. Or maybe you hover and maybe plateau 5 to 10 pounds above that, and it may take some tweaking. But I call your natural weight the place where your body functions at its highest level. And I'm talking mind, body, spirit. That you're feeling like you're firing on all cylinders. That's when you know that you're at your natural weight. So the idea of creating a food protocol is choosing foods that fuel you, and it takes into account when you're going to eat those foods, and then how much time you're going to put in between those meals. So I like to come alongside of you to create a protocol that fits your unique lifestyle so that you don't have to adapt to somebody's script, so that you allow the protocol to work with your lifestyle. You're not trying to cram a protocol into your lifestyle. Your protocol will support the life that you love. I want you to create joy in your life so that you don't have to get it from food. So many of us try to work through our issues, whether it's relationship issues, under earning issues, professional issues. But when you learn to think differently about those circumstances, you feel differently, and you don't use food as a numbing tool. And guess what? That alone, when you stop overeating, that organically creates weight loss. So nothing about the food protocol is prescribed. It's created by you for you. So I teach you how to choose food that fuels you. And again, how to then extend the time in between your meals. So I mentioned this yesterday. Choosing food that fuels you is low carb. It's eliminating refined carbs. It's a moderate amount of protein, and it's high fat. And those are good fats. And I teach you exactly what falls into that category. It's making sure you're hydrated. It's making sure that you are aware if you're deficient in any vitamins, minerals, so that you know what to supplement. This is super comprehensive when you're talking about the food that fuels you. And then we talked about extending the time in between your meals so that you can call that fasting. But that, again, that's just a manipulation of time to get the result that you're looking for. So I walk you through the process of trying different periods of time between your meals, and we just simply extend it by 2 hours per week. Everyone fasts when they sleep, right? So if anybody out there wants to debate whether they can or cannot fast, I'm here to tell you, you do it every single night when you're sleeping. So that's where we start. And then we just simply start manipulating we stop eating 2 hours earlier than usual, or we just wait an extra 2 hours before we eat after we wake up in the morning. Super simple. And then the next week we extend it 2 hours longer, and the next week we do the same until we eventually work our way up to alternate day fasting. And I know to some of you that might sound really crazy, but we get there with the objective of experiencing how is our body reacting, and we watch how it adapts to the extended time in between our meal. Okay, so your homework for today, I want you to send me one belief that has kept you from moving forward in your weight loss goal. And we're dropping the link to your homework in the comments. I want to just remind you that beliefs, all they are thoughts that you have thought over and over and over again. That has become this well-driven path. Those thoughts become very established neural pathways. And to replace it, you have to understand what it is, and foremost, that is causing that thought. right? What is the root cause? So tomorrow, I'll be back in here at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. We're going to dive deeper into the science of fasting. I hope that you are getting everything that you had dreamed of from this crash course. There is so much more information for you. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to reach out to me or my staff. Rhonda is like on call right now. So feel free to jump into the chat right now, reach out to her to schedule a one-on-one call if you have any questions about how to maximize this crash course, or if you want to understand what the long game could look like for you. I'm also going to be dropping a bonus, an interview with one of my clients who recently finished the program. She lost a lot of weight without giving up a daily ritual that she really loved. So I think you'll love hearing about her experience. I am so honored that you guys took the time to be here today. I so appreciate all of you being here. I appreciate all the comments. I appreciate the homework that was put in. So please feel free to reach out to us. Please do the day 2 homework, because it really does inform the lesson that I am going to bring forth tomorrow and Thursday and Friday. So with that, I'm going to give you one last peek at some of our self-made you success stories. Thank you.